Ciao, welcome again to the adventure of cycling around the world. And it's been a while since we've done an Ask Me Anything video, a Q&A video. So a few days ago I prompted you guys on YouTube, Facebook and Instagram to submit some questions. I'm always afraid that nobody cares and no question is going to be submitted, and then all of a sudden I have too many questions to answer. But we will try to go through all of them in this video. First of all, I would like to show you that I made a new set of postcards. They are postcards from with pictures from Spain, Montañas Vacía, the desert of Gorafe. And if you'd like to receive one of these postcards, you can send a donation, and in exchange you will receive a postcard. Before we get into the questions were submitted in English, in Spanish, in Italian. I will read them out in the language that they were submitted, but I will answer in English. So turn on the subtitles of your own language. The videos are subtitled in I think 10-14 languages, so you will have to follow through the subtitles if you don't speak English, but it shouldn't be a problem. I grouped the questions based on similar topics so that maybe I can answer multiple questions at once and we go through a little quicker. But first of all, I want to thank you, Javier, that even for this time, he sent a video question that I kind of like this concept. So let's hear Javier's question.
Hola, Davide. Mi pregunta es la siguiente. ¿Era el mundo como te lo imaginabas antes de empezar a viajar en bici?
First of all, thank you, Javier, for submitting the video. When he went to the trouble to submit in the video and send it. Is the world like I imagined before I start traveling by bicycle? I don't have a fair vivid imagination, and I discovered the world day to day with my cycling. I've seen amazing landscapes and amazing countries, continents. I met amazing people. I live with the local people in their home because I travel with basically no money, and I rely a lot on the help of the local people. And so I get to live with them and stay with them where they live and see exactly the real culture of the countries that I go through. But I don't have any expectation, and for me it's a discovery day to day. Now the first group of questions is about current location and travel plans, basically. From Facebook, Manuel Batista, onde te encuentras neste momento? I think it's Portuguese. James, where are you off next? Greg's, what are your plans for this summer? Well, I'm unfortunately still in Istanbul. I will leave very shortly. I didn't plan to stay in Istanbul so long. I thought I was gonna stay here only for the coldest part of the winter, but unfortunately things didn't go exactly as planned. I had some stuff to sort out. I had some visa problem, but now everything is sorted, and I'm ready to leave. I just need to pack my bike. I just got back my bike from a bike shop, so I'm ready to go basically. Next set of questions are about the bike, my gear setup. Rotem Hansson, what bike are you riding? I think a lot of people are new here, but I published a couple of video reviews about my bike. Maybe I can link the last one I did a long time ago, and also last year I did like a video about my setup, so how I pack my bike. So maybe you can go and watch those two videos. But it's a Genesis Longitude. It's a 27.5 plus bike, and yeah, I'm happy about it. It's almost end of life, I think, but it is what it is. Andy and Laura, Davide, you mentioned a while ago you might be getting a new bike. Any news? Hope you start riding opinion. Unfortunately, my sponsorship of a new bike, it's quite sad, because I usually pick someone that decides to sponsor me, and then it falls through because the company has some problems. it happened to me a few times. And also there was someone from the UK that was gonna sponsor me a titanium frame, racks and everything, but unfortunately he told me that they are having some financial problems, and he cannot justify sponsoring a bike to me. And that was a few months ago, but I was dealing with some other stuff and I was a little bit upset, and I just left it, to be honest. I should resume and contact some companies, but I was a bit disappointing. I see lots of people on social media that they get sponsored everything, and I've been on the road for 10 years, and yeah, I don't have much sponsorship. What can I do? Maybe I'm not a likable person. It is what it is. Bogdan, maybe it's time to evaluate your gear, everything, cooking gear, sleeping gear, blah, blah, blah. What works really well, what does not work, what would you not use anymore? Everything I bring with me, it's because it's working, otherwise I would have tossed it a long time ago. I made a gear video after Africa. I know, like, when I was in Barcelona, I kind of promised I was gonna make another one. So I will try to make a video with all my gear before I leave Istanbul, even though I'm a little bit in a rush, because also in this apartment there will be people coming. So I will try to do it, but most of the gear is the same that I had when I crossed Africa, so you can go and watch the video. It was very tedious to make, and also it's very tedious to watch, but if you really want to know, that's more or less. I didn't change many things, to be honest, but I will try to update that video before I leave. Also, Steven is asking the same question. Can you summarize what you carry, what bags you use, how do you lock and secure your bags if you need to go in a store? Okay, for the gear and the setup, there is already a video, especially about how I pack my bike. I put the link in the description, and I made it last year when I finished the Monsec bikepacking loop and I was getting to Barcelona. And how do I lock my bike when I go into a store? Yeah, I don't use a lock. For example, if I go in a supermarket, I put it at the beginning. If I go to Lidl, for example, I put it at the entrance. So yeah, I put a Velcro on the brakes. It's like a handbrake. But other than that, I mean, if they want to steal the bike, I mean, how can you lock the... Okay, maybe you can lock the bike, but the bags, even if you have a lock for the bags, but with a knife, they cut them and they take them. Or they take what's inside. So there's no way to secure the bags when you go in a store. And usually you go in a place where you keep an eye. If you go to a Lidl, I mean, you put it at the entrance, you go in the supermarket, sometimes they say, and you can explain, you know, I don't have a lock, anything, it can be stolen, I leave it here a few minutes, I'll be quick. And usually they let you. And if they say no, you tell them they are assholes and you go to another store. That's it. That's my strategy. Your pack arrangement is very front-end heavy. Is there any reason? Yeah, we talked about it in the first Q&A video. Front-loading is a thing. You can go and watch that video that I explain it more in detail, but basically it gives you better handling and better control on, especially when you're on loose terrain, gravel, sand, when you're descending off-road, and it's better for weight distribution because your body is already sitting on the back of the bike, so it basically, it's a better balance of the weight distribution, and it's slightly more efficient when you climb. It's you don't feel the weight when the bike is rolling. When it's like 4 or 5 kilometers per hour speed, you don't feel it anymore, because it's not that you do this when you're cycling. Even when there is a tight corner, but it's only a few degrees, and the faster you go, the less degrees that you need to steer the handle. So it is true that when the bike is stationary and you have to maneuver it around a little bit, you feel all the weight in the front, but I mean, you're maneuvering a bike, you're not lifting it, you know. ¿Gastas mucho presupuestos en recambios? Do I spend loads of money in spare parts of my bicycle? Yes and no. It always depends on how much money you have. If you have loads of money, 100 euro is nothing. If you have no money, 100 euro is a lot of money. So it's always relative, you know. I'm lucky that now Schwalbe sends me the tires, tubes if I need, the sealant. So at least once a year I get a shipment, because then now that I will be in Middle East and Asia, it will be more difficult, but we'll see. And so that's a big expense, that every 10-12,000 kilometers you have to replace the tires. And then I just replaced the drivetrain. I don't remember how much I spent, but I replaced the crankset, I replaced the cassette, and I replaced the chain. And live in Istanbul, I will bring a spare chain with me. They're getting quite expensive, these chains. I used to toss them every so often and replace them, and now I bought two very good quality chain from Wipperman, and I will just change them every 2,000-3,000 kilometers, and so they will wear out pretty evenly, and hopefully until I get a new bike I don't have to change everything again. Every now and then I have problems with the pads, with the brakes, so I have to replace the brake pads. I use metallic disc brake pads, and they last much longer than organic or semi-organic or semi-metallic, and yeah, that's it's definitely a little cheaper. Then more or less the other things, yeah, maybe you need to change a cable here and there, but even that is very difficult, and you need to clean the chain, and so lube. Other than that, yeah, there's no other thing for the bikes. Then you have camping gear that also need to be replaced every now and then. What would you say has been your most useful equipment you've had to use on your adventures? Everything I carry with me has a purpose, and I need it. Otherwise, I wouldn't carry it. Other than that, I don't know, the grizzly bear spray that saved my life in Colombia. Otherwise, I would be dead. But yeah, everything I carry is needed. Next group of questions: filming, editing, and tech. Frank, how do you produce your video? Are you carrying a laptop? Che materiale usi per girare i video? Hai un microfono anche? What do you use to shoot your video? Do you also have a microphone? Isn't there any sponsorship to get you a new drone? Maybe when I do the video about my gear, I can also do a separate video about the photography gear, but most of the videos that I shoot, that you see on this channel, they're shot with an action cam. Until the videos of the Monsac bikepacking loop, they were done with a GoPro 7. Very, very old videos that you see unstabilized in the Americas and the first part of Africa. They were an old GoPro 4 that I picked up second-hand in San Francisco. And then from Rwanda, it was GoPro 7 until Barcelona in Spain. And so then I got the DJI Action 4. So then from the Monsac bikepacking loop, all the other videos are with the DJI Action 4 that I will keep for a few years now. Now it's the second year. I will keep it again for a few years, I think. And I have also, for the photos, I have another camera. It's one of the oldest mirrorless cameras from Sony. It's like a toy. It's an APS-C, and I have two lenses, but I usually use only one. It's a zoom lens from Sigma, and I don't remember the focal length, but it's 18 to 50 APS-C, and I don't remember what's the equivalent in full frame, and it's f2.8 constant. It's a decent lens. It's the camera body that now would need a replacement. And then the drone sponsorship, no, there's no sponsorship for dirtbags like me, especially for photography. The drone, I have an update about the drone. So for the people that didn't follow the saga, I lost the drone in France. It was a bit stupid. It was my fault. I hadn't used it in a long time because when I went to Algeria, I couldn't bring the drone, so I left it in Spain. And yeah, it was my fault, but it crashed into a ravine. I tried to 3-4 times to rescue it, but it was impossible to recover it. But it was impossible. I have 2 updates about the drone. The first update is that after I published the video on YouTube, a local person that watched the videos, I forgot his name now, unfortunately, but he messaged me on Facebook, and he asked me for the GPS coordinates, and he said that he goes hiking there pretty often. So he said the next time I go, I can bring some tools also to cut some vegetation, and I will try to retrieve your drone. But he also told me it was impossible even for him to reach the drone. He told me also he got very, very close, a few meters close, but it's the vegetation is too dense, it's on a ravine, it's impossible, I think, to retrieve it. Then another friend said, maybe I can buy you the drone, because he told me, I didn't know, but you can contact DJI, and they have a purchase program for if you lose the drone, and we purchased the drone for I think 60% discount. So now I still have a Mini 3 Pro, but it was a long process because you need the controller. And when I was in France, in Cannes, I gave I left the controller at Stefano Grosso's sister in Cannes, and then it was basically in Milan at Stefano's house, so I had to get the drone shipped. It's a long story, but now I have a drone. But yeah, I don't know exactly if I could take it into Middle East. We'll see. It's gonna be very risky taking it into Iran. I will not use it, but just the fact that you take it there, they could use it to put you in prison as a spy. So next group is about route planning and navigation. Frank again, how do you plan your routes? And also Andrea from Italy, same question, come prepari il percorso da seguire alla cazzo di cane? I don't really do any planning. I hate planning. I know many people that loves to go into maps, and it's the case of Ryan, and I was here, but many people that I know, they spend hours in the maps, in Google Earth, in route planners on their laptop or their phone. For me, it's a waste of time. I don't really like it. For me, the map is never the territory, so you can study as much as you want the map, but until you're there, you have no idea. Also a lot of trails, a lot of road in many countries. They're not the ones that are on the map, are just in the minds of some cartographer in Berlin or in London, but it's not the real thing. So how do I plan? I usually have a rough idea. For example, when I leave Istanbul, I will decide maybe I go towards Ankara or towards this other city, and from there I plot out a rough route and I start to go, and then day by day in the morning I decide, okay, let me see what's the next 100 kilometers, and let's see what's the option are. And sometimes you do like a trail that is established. It happened a lot in Spain, that I did when I enter, I did the Camino de Santiago. It's the St. James Way. I did, for example, in Gorafe, Parque de Cazorla. I did the Transnevada. I did Badlands. I did Montañas Vacia. I did Monsec bikepacking loop. I did part of El Piri. So these are established routes, and you just download the GPX file and you just follow it. In Italy as well, with Dino, we did the Wolf Layer bikepacking route. I did part of the Tuscany Trail, and in other parts I just plot out a route myself. But I usually do it in the morning, and sometimes I'm already on the bike and I'm already start cycling and I decide. It's a very, very last minute thing. Sometimes I stay in a city for like a week or a few days, and when I'm on my bike, everything is packed. I'm already leaving the house, the host, and I still don't know where to go. I haven't decided yet. But obviously, I always have a rough idea. For example, when I was when I left Spain, when I left Barcelona, okay, I'm going towards the Middle East. So what do I go? I have to go a bit of Spain. Maybe I'll go to Andorra. I do south of France. I'll cross Italy. Then I'll go to Greece, and then I'll arrive in Turkey. I knew I had a place to stay for a little bit. So I have a rough idea, but then it's usually day to day. Next, camping and sleeping. Marco, what's your strategy to find a place to sleep every day? How did the strategy change in different continents? Come scegli i posti per dormire con la tenda? Very same question from Andrea and Marco. If you watch my vlogs, every Sunday I usually talk about, okay, here yes, here no, but my criteria is always the same. There should be a flat area, free of stones, possibly, in a dry place, far from a large body of waters, so not very Instagrammable place. If there is concrete and a roof is better, and we talk about it even with Ryan Wilson he prefers to be in nature because he's also need to publish his photos on the Radavis and things like that, so he need to write articles. For him it's a job as well. For me it's I get no money from Instagram, and yeah, I don't want to be miserable just to take a nice picture in the morning. But I have nothing against what other people that do it, you know. But very close to large body of water, for me it's the worst idea ever. And did the strategy change in different continents? No, it's usually the same. It's just that sometimes you're around with lots of people in certain country. Even if you are in nature, there's lots of people, so it's different to hide, because I don't want anybody know where I camp. So in certain countries it's better to ask permission to camp in someone's backyard or in a compound. If you are in Africa, you ask someone of the tribe or at the village, and you ask permission, and usually they also tell you, okay, you can go there, and then you're safe. It's very difficult that someone is gonna mess with you. And obviously, if you watch my videos, one of the best places where you can camp is a cemetery. Next is fun, hygiene and laundry. Frank, how do you handle/do laundry when mostly while camping? Andrea, come ti lavi dopo una giornata in bicicletta? Sei in mezzo al nulla e non hai strutture adeguate? Same question in Italian as well. You know, you can survive even without washing for a while. I don't know you guys, but when I was a kid, we used to take a bath once a week. And even as an adult, if you take a bath once a week, it doesn't change. You're not gonna find any bird, any date on the road. So yeah, you're out of luck. So if you smell a little bit, or if you're a little bit dirty, nothing change. For me, the best strategy is to cover my arms. So I have a a long sleeve sun hoodie, and to cover also my legs. So most of the dirt already, when I remove my sun hoodie at night, my arms are not dirty because they were sweaty, and then dirt or dust or sand stick to my arms. So yeah, that's probably dirty of a bit of sweat, but that's it. It's not like that dirt that you really need to wash away. It's the same for the legs. I cover the legs with kind of leg warmers, but they're very light. They're made for sun, and also I have socks. So basically, again, I take off my clothes at night and I just pass like a wet wipe with a little bit of alcohol. And in the countries where there is no alcohol, I can use cologne. For example, here in Turkey, you go at every supermarket and they have very cheap cologne, that smell like lemon or something like that they use also for babies. But it's in Muslim country you find everywhere, and I use that, some wet wipes and some of these cologne or alcohol, because the cologne is like, I don't know, 90% or 80% alcohol as well, with a little bit of perfume, so people don't drink it. But I use that. And then once I arrive in a city and I have a host, I take all my cycling clothes and put them in a washing machine, wash them, and they're washed. It's very easy. You don't really need to wash as much as you think. Next group is about food, cooking, and calories. James, do you ever have trouble simply eating enough so that you don't lose too much weight? Hola señor, ¿qué pasta comes habitualmente? He visto que es pasta rellena, pero me gustaría que nos hiciera más detalles. When was the last time you cooked tortellini? Okay, no, I don't really have any trouble cooking most of the time, eating enough calories most of the time. I had, when I was younger, when I started this journey, I was losing more calories and I was eating more. I think my metabolism slowed down. For example, now I got really fat. I have like 4 kilos more than I should. So for the first month and a half, I will not need many calories, because I need to get rid of some of this fat and 4 kilos of weight. Other than that, I usually don't have enough money to eat very well. So it's when I'm on the road, it's lots of cheap calories. And I'm getting older, and I've been 10 years on the road, and I feel like now I start to eat a little better, be a little more mindful even when I'm on the road. But it's not very easy, and usually the quality food costs so much more than junk food. The second question in Spanish was what they see me cooking the pasta and they want to know what kind of pasta it is. It's tortellini, but it's not normal tortellini that you find everywhere in every supermarket. These are dry tortellini. They are, you can touch them, they are hard as a rock. They are very dry, so they weigh very little. And usually they come in boxes of bags of 250 grams, and that's enough for basically 1 meal. Usually I put a little bit of protein and maybe some texturized soy, or can throw in there a can of lentils or some chickpeas or something like that. But my favorite is a little bit of texturized soy, because it weighs next to nothing. And they usually come, you can have cheese inside, or you can have a little bit of meat, or ricotta and spinach. There are different flavors for everybody. Well, different flavors, usually 3 main flavors. But I do recommend it. It's more filling than pasta. In a way, it's a little bit more, I don't know, it makes you more content than pasta, at least for me. But I also enjoy pasta. It's just that when When you're cycling, I think it's pasta and that's it. It's not maybe I want a little bit more, and either you have some cheese or some meat or some beans, then also the pasta is quite filling. But otherwise, if I have only like a pot of pasta for me, sometimes then I get hungry a little bit later. But with the tortellini, it's a little better. Also, tortellini, you can cook them in a broth, and so it's, especially when the temperature is not too hot, it's nice to have some broth. But also sometimes when it's warm, I like having a little bit of broth. But if you don't like, you drain it, and it's like pasta. So I think it's a more versatile type of pasta, and that's why I'm obsessed with tortellini. I saw tortellini at Migros here in its supermarket here in Turkey. They are a little bit more expensive, almost double the price compared to Spain and Italy. But still, I think it's a competitive price. Fueled by tortellini. Alright, clothing. Cosimo, how long last your clothes? Using them almost every day, I suppose. We must be through while traveling on bikes, don't we? With all the kilometers you do you wear padded shorts? How do you handle? I do wear padded shorts because I've been used also when I was doing bike race. I always had padded shorts, and for me it's comfortable. And if I don't use padded shorts, then I start to have saddle sores and all sorts of nasty stuff on my butt, and I don't like it. I have only one pair of padded shorts, and those it's part of my cycling kit. And so until I get a shower and I wash everything, then yeah, it's the same. It's the same. One is enough for me. And then usually the padded shorts last at least a year and a half, sometimes two, it depends. The last few years I'm using very cheap Decathlon shorts, I think the last 4 or 5 years, and I'm on my second one, so let's say at least 4 years it's the second pair. Then the other type of clothing, it depends. Sometimes there's this zip of pants. I have them at least since 2018, I think. It depends. Some things last longer, some things shorter. It really depends. The thing that I change most often lately is the gloves, is the biking gloves. I can't find a pair that really last long, and then you get them repaired and then they break, you repair them again, and then at some point you just need to toss them and buy a new one. Kilometers. How many kilometers do you average per year? What is your average kilometer you bike in a month? And I guess next question, how many kilometers per day? Ah no, Luca, ogni quanto cambi la catena, la trasmissione, corone pignoni. I don't know, it depends on the year, but there were years that I did also 17,000 kilometers. Lately, especially here in Europe, I have more places where I can stay. I don't have problems with visas, so I stayed a long time in many places, so I didn't do a lot of kilometers per year. I don't know lately, but it's very low. And in a month, I think I have no idea, but I would say if you travel more than 2,000 kilometers per month, it's you're traveling too fast. For me, it's a mistake, but it also depends on the traveling style. There are people that it's more like a cycling challenge, so it's about how many kilometers I do per day, and I want to do 200, 250. For me, it's more like seeing the places that I want to see, meeting people, stop to people in random villages and have a chat. And lots of these interactions take a long time. And then Luca was asking how often I change the chain. And I used to change it when it was necessary. But before you could buy a chain for like 10, 11, 12 euros. And now the chains are very expensive. And at some point, I think in Africa, I started to use some chains from Germany that they last a long time, but they are ridiculously expensive. So as I mentioned before, now I will swap them, and then until I probably change my bike, or until I have to change the whole drivetrain, I will keep them and swap them. And how often do you need to change the drivetrain? It also depends. The terrain you cycle through, if there is lots of mud, if there is lots of sand, how well you do the maintenance. I try to clean the chain and lube it every day. How much rain and, for example, snow and ice are like the worst for wearing out the chain. So the more the chain wears out, it wears out also the cassette and the cranks, and so everything wears out. But I would say, if I have to give you a number, usually you have to change the whole drivetrain every 15,000-20,000 kilometers, and if you're not careful, even less. Casey, what's your main inspiration to travel? For instance, I travel to see ancient places and work of art that I'm interested in, as well as landscapes, and to understand the topography across. What is your motivation? What brings joy in your travels? For me, when I left Alaska, the main goal was to get to Patagonia. I didn't have much expectation. I had a bike touring setup, so I was trying to do as many kilometers. I was trying to escape the winter of Alaska, and yeah, the goal was to get to Patagonia. Halfway through, when I decided to cycle around the world, the goal changed, and it became, okay, I want to cross the continents in a meaningful way. And other than that, I have always very busy to do so many things in my day-to-day life, because I wake up, I have to pack my things, get ready, then I need to decide the route for the day, I need to ride, I need to find water, I have to make sure that the water is safe to drink, I need to find food, then at night I need to find a proper place where I can sleep, I need to build my shelter, and I need to rest, because the day after I have to do it all again. Then I also, meanwhile, I have to document what I'm doing through videos, through photos. I want to get in touch with the local people, so I need to stop, talk to local people, and enjoy some of the time with them. And then I also need to maybe have problems with some gear, so I need to arrange gear replacement, logistics. There's lots of things going on. But if I have to give you a simple answer, for me is crossing the continent in a meaningful way, enjoy the riding and experiences that I have with people. I've seen a lot of work of art since I was a little kid, because I grew up in a country that, so I've seen lots of work of art, I've seen lots of ancient ruins. So if I miss a few of these places, for me it's not that important. Next, non ti stanca fare sempre la stessa cosa? Do I get tired to do always the same thing? Not yet, otherwise I would have stopped. Cycling around the world, this project, Alaska to Patagonia, is not a dogma. If tomorrow I'm tired and I change my mind, I will stop, pack up my shit, go home and do something else. It's not a dogma. I do it because I really enjoy it. I think in August it will be 10 years that I'm doing this project. There was a pause for the pandemic, but it's basically 10 years that I'm doing this thing, because even during the pandemic I was making videos, reviews, tutorials, so I didn't do anything else. And it's something that I'm still very passionate about. I enjoy traveling. For me, the most thing is riding in different landscape in nature, and get to know people around the world. That's my main focus, and so I'm doing the same thing it's true, but it's different every day. So the tool is the same, but the landscapes that I see are different, the people that I met are different, the countries that I go through are different, the cultures that I go through are different. Okay, now I'm in Turkey. I was here in 2019, but it's a great way for Asia also, because I could have gone a different route, maybe through Ukraine and Russia and things like that. But it's a war zone. So I mean, sometimes I'm restricted of where to go by bureaucratic reason, political reason, and my own economics as well. Dopo anni di viaggi, pensi a un futuro più statico o continuare a girare? After so many years on the road, do you think about a future that is more like in one place, or will you travel forever? I think that's the question. And as I said, most likely when I'll complete the round the world tour, my traveling experience will come to an end in this form. There's a chance that I can start and organizing adventures for people that would like to have a guide. Maybe they would like to have everything organized, and maybe that will be the next chapter of my life. I'm not sure 100%, but there is a chance. Or maybe I'll do something totally different. In my life, I did several different stuff. I lived in Italy. I left everything. I went to live in Ireland. I worked for multinational companies. I worked for American companies. I worked for IT. I worked in consulting. Then I changed and I started to work in basically marketing, in sales, and then so I did different things at different times of my life, and I also like to change every so often. So there could be a possibility that traveling is still part of my future, so I can leverage my experience, but there's probably a high possibility that at some point I say fuck it and I'll do something totally different. Who knows? Or maybe there's a chance I'm gonna die in this journey and the future is it's gone. Next groups is about, I wrote down fitness, pain and health. James, you must be so incredibly fit. Maybe you could talk about your smart ring. Does it measure your VO2 max? What's yours? I think it's missing part of the question. I think I made a mistake with the copy and paste. He's talking about this ring that you saw in the last few videos. It's a smart ring. I will make a review. It does measure the VO2 max. I will make a review before I leave Istanbul, a quick review, and I'll give you more information. I will go more in depth into the smart ring. Mark, how low of a temperature can you handle? Not that low, because I have a problem with my blood circulation, so I get hypothermic very easily, even if it's not freezing. But if I'm wet because of rain and wind, I can get hypothermic, even a sub-freezing temperature. Camping wise, I think I can, with this current setup, so the sleeping pad and my quilt and other things, I can sleep comfortably up to -10. Cumulus sent me some Dawn pants that maybe I'll do a quick review to cover a little bit lower temperature. So with this setup, with the different layers, I think -10, even -15 for a few nights. But I wouldn't go to cycle Siberia in the winter with my current setup. But let's say even if you cross the Americas and you go through like Bolivia, the Salar de Uyuni, the Lagunas route, and it's really cold at night, but only at night, then even if it's -20, -22, something like that, you wear all your clothes, and for a few nights you can cope. And also there the advantage is that during the day, then as soon as the sun rises and the temperature goes up 10, 15, 20 degrees, because from minus 20 you might arrive at 10-15 degrees during the day, so it's like 35 degrees difference. Ed è come evitar dolencia nel culo o las piernas al pedalar cada día. It's asking me how do I avoid to have pain in your arse pedaling every day. There's no, first of all, you get used, your body get used to everything. But the most important is to get to a bike fitting. You go to a bike fitter mechanic. In Italian, for example, it's called biomechanic. I don't know why. In Spanish, I'm not sure. But the first thing I suggest is to invest 100, 150 euro, I'm not sure how much they charge now, to do a proper bike fitting. And the bike fitter, the biomechanic will adjust your position on the bike. He will tell you also, they will measure your seat bones precisely and tell you exactly the saddle you need, the width of the saddle. And that's already like you take away most of the pain in your body if you do a proper bike fitting. And if you have a proper saddle that is appropriate to the measures of your seat bones, also it's very difficult to have a lot of pain in your butt. But you also need to get used. For example, when I will leave Istanbul now, I haven't cycled for a long time, for many hours. So the first couple of days, I will take it easy. And then usually the second day it's when it hurts more. The third day it hurts a lot. But after the third day, you start to get used to it, and it's okay. You can use a chamois cream if you want. You put a cream on your seat bones, on where the part of your butt that links with the saddle, or you can put. Some people put it on the padded short. It's a little cream. And also my suggestion is every morning before you wear your cycling clothes is to spread a couple of drops of tea tree oil around your seat bone area. And when you remove your clothing at night before you sleep, also with a wet wipe, some alcohol, clean again this area and put again a couple of drops of tea tree oil, which is an antibacterial. I made a video about this, and it helps to prevent saddle sore. And if you have saddle sore, it really helps to speed up the healing process. It will dry the saddle sore and it cures very quickly. So I strongly suggest to take a little bit of tea tree oil with you, like Alberto, que sei nievas, the saddle that I use is a Selle San Marco. I forgot the model. I think it's a short feet or long feet. I can't remember. It has a hole in the middle. As I said, just mentioned, get a proper bike fitting and know exactly the width, the size of the saddle that you need, and that is gonna be a good saddle. For example, before in the Americas, I followed the hype and cycled with Brooks. It's too wide for me. I tried also the Cambium, also destroyed my ass in the last part of the Americas, and then in Africa I went back again to a leather Brooks, and it's not good for me. It didn't help with my back problems for sure. And so get a proper bike fitting, and then you will see that most of the saddles you will use, they will be comfortable. Can you show how your calves look like? It's not only fans, you know. Best pooping tips. Don't keep it. Do it when you have the urge. When you have a bowel movement, just take a dump. Follow the leave no trace rule. So get yourself a trowel to dig a cut hole and use wet wipes instead of toilet paper. yeah, that's the best advice. Use wet wipes, not toilet paper. Why do you not wear a helmet? It's very uncomfortable for me. I sweat a lot from my head, but I get cold very quickly as well. So I have to make loads of temperature management. I get sunburn very quickly, so I have to wear some sort of cap. So the cap, the helmet, it's too much, and it's always in the way. And security, it's a personal choice. I'm not an advocate. I would suggest everybody to wear a helmet. A helmet saved my life. I crashed into a car, and with my head, I broke the windscreen of a car. So you can see I have a scar that you probably notice in my videos. If you notice carefully on my arms, there are tens of different cuts because the windscreen of this car cut me everywhere. I still had a piece of glass that was here. It came out very recently. Glass, it's a material that tends to go outside your body, and I lost a lot of these little pieces, but here there was some stitches, and I have stitches everywhere on this arm. And yeah, so I understand it's important, but I feel for what I do at the moment, I'm taking a risk assessment, and I decide not to use the helmet, but I strongly suggest everybody to use the helmet. It might change in the future when I get older, but at the moment I feel I manage my risk at the moment. I don't go that fast. I try to be more on off-road, and I also have bags in a way that if I fell, there is some protection from that. I don't know. I'm totally wrong, but yeah. Maria, qual è la tua opinione sui pannelli solari come opzione per caricare i devices o la power bank? Solar panels. For me, they are a little bit of a pain in the arse. I don't think you get a lot of juice when you're cycling with the size of the solar panels. It's quite limited. You basically cannot charge a device like a phone straight from these solar panels, so you need to basically charge a power bank, and then from the power bank you charge your phone. And yeah, it's to me, I prefer to stop half an hour somewhere and plug in my power bank into a main, and it charges so much faster. I would have to cycle like probably 2-3 days for what I can charge from the main in like 20-30 minutes. I carry a power bank that is from Anker, and it's a reputable company. So if you buy a power bank, buy it from a reputable company, because there are loads of scams in power bank. Once in Africa, I remember I bought one for it was 10,000 milliampere, and it wouldn't charge my phone, not even once. And that was an iPhone back then. It was like 1,000 something milliampere. So I should have been able to charge I don't know, at least 7 or 8 times, but it wasn't charging not even one. The power bank I have at the moment, I think it's the maximum that you can bring on planes. I think it's 24,000 milliampere or 25,000 milliampere. I can't remember what it is, just in case I might have to fly somewhere. And it has fast charging. So if you have a 45 watts brick, you can charge it in, I think, 3 hours and a half. And so every few days I can plug it in somewhere. If I stop in a shop to buy some food, I can plug it in while I shop and I eat something, or the same if you stop in a bar or in a restaurant or in a supermarket, you can always ask if you can plug it in. Sometimes, if worse come to worse, you can stop a couple of hours in a place and ask even someone house if you can, or any business. It could be a garage or a mechanic or something, and that's very fast. 3.5 hours from 0 to 100%. But if you use it a few days, 2-3 days, and then you stop for half an hour, 1 hour here, then you do another couple of days, you stop another hour. For me, it's more convenient than carrying a solar panel that you're there the whole day and nothing. I didn't try a dynamo hub, but I tried the rim hub, the pedal cell. I think they went out of business. But also that one, most of the time, especially if you are on the road, maybe it's okay. But if you're pedaling off-road, that you're much slower, there's more obstacles, and you stop and you go and you stop, and especially if you climb a lot, it wasn't enough to, it was very hard because it slows you down a lot, but it doesn't make any meaningful difference on charging this power bank. So at some point I tried it a few times, but then I tossed it. Have you ever used a trailer for luggage? No. Again, as I said, for me, I do front loading because the more in the front the weight, the better the handling of the bike. Imagine having the weight not at the back of your bike, way back of your bike. It's difficult to handle the trailer off-road. It's difficult to maneuver the bike. Yeah, I think it's okay for people that they are all the time on pavement. You can get by, but other than that, it's also a pain in the arse if you have to bring the bike at the 3rd or 4th floor or the 5th floor like this, and sometimes there is no elevator. It's a pain in the arse. I prefer to have a few bags and carry the bike. It's better in my opinion, but again, different people, different needs, and yeah, if the trailer works for you, great. Frank, do you have a home base? You always seems to be on the road trail. At the moment, I don't have a home base. I'm always on the road, yes. And so it's 10 years that I've been on the road. After the Balkans, so I crossed the Americas, I crossed Africa, Turkey, the Balkans, and I went to visit my family in Italy. And I was stuck there for the pandemic because I arrived and basically the pandemic arrived as well. And then once I left, I've also always been on the road. Before starting this adventure, I was living in Ireland. And after I will finish the pandemic, I will most likely end up living in Spain, but I will see. Ricardo, no sé cómo sería andar solo, por eso pregunto. He didn't really make a question, but I understand what he wants to say, and he asked me about my experience as a solo bike traveler. And for me, it's a rich experience. It's definitely richer than if I was with another person. It could be a friend or it could be a significant other, a partner. But I think at least that was my experience that I observed traveling with other couples, other little groups, because every now and then you run into someone and you do a few days together. But the majority of the time I'm alone. I had friends coming with like Tino and Ivan to share the road with me, but yeah, the 99.9% of the time I'm alone. And when you're alone, it's you as an individual that interact with the territory, with the local people, the culture. But if you are 2 or more people, you interact as a group. You're seen as a group and you're treated as a group, no more as an individual. So I think you lose something. I wouldn't be able to quantify or define, but there is something lost there. On the other hand, you can share the troubles, you can share the issue, and when it sucks for everybody. So yeah, you're a little bit happier that you're not just suffering alone. But yeah, so there are trade-offs, and in my opinion, it's a formative experience also to travel alone, and I would suggest to travel alone. And I've seen couples breaking up and friendships ending as well, relationship and friendship. So yeah, it's always a tricky balance. I think next is a Moroccan guy, but question in Italian. Ciao Davide, pensi tornerai mai in Marocco? Ho adorato quegli episodi. He's asking me if I'll ever go back to Morocco because he loved watching the episodes from Morocco. I also really enjoy riding in Morocco. The people were nice, especially outside the most tourist area like Marrakesh or Merzouga, these places. The people are so lovely and welcoming, as other Muslim country, you know. Remember the more recent experience of Algeria, and also you will see now that I'm also in Muslim countries like Turkey, but I will also go to other. I will also go in Middle East, so you will see also in Sudan similar experience. And the riding in Morocco was amazing. I really like the fact that it was very easy to find dirt roads everywhere. So I would love to go back, but before I need to finish the round the world tour, because if I go back in Africa or North Africa, then I'm basically going backwards, and I will never ever finish this round the world tour. So first I finish the round the world tour, then I'll go back to Morocco. Next group of questions are more or less the same. How do you afford to do all of this? My question is, how do you make money to pay for anything? How can we help? Where is best to send donations? Okay, we talked about this more extensively in the first episode, so I will put a link in the description. But you can travel with no money, and I explain, and I also have interviews to other bike travelers that also talk about their experiences. And so go watch these videos, because for me they are very inspiring. So my friend, the two couples that I interviewed, also I talked about how I do it in the first video, the first Q&A video, so you can go. And also the guy said, how can we help and what is the best way to send donation? Okay, you can help purchasing, making a contribution to receive the postcards, and but also watching the videos. And how to send money, any way works. PayPal, you can use Revolut, you can do a bank transfer if you have a European bank account. I think I have also on my Wise app, there is also an American bank account number. So if you are from the US, I think you can send that. And yeah, PayPal as well. It costs me 5-6%, so it's okay. And then I see people send a donation through YouTube. That also works. There is a 30% YouTube tax, and also if you send from your Apple phone, then there is a 30% Apple tax. So from the money sent, let's say someone sent $9.99 from YouTube using their Apple phone, I get 4 something. I get only 49%. But yeah, then I know you ask why do you have this option? Is because a little is better than nothing. Maybe if I remove that option to send a donation, some people are not gonna send anything. So for me, it's better. A little is better than nothing. Other than that, the guy also asked how can we help. Of course, if you can do a donation, is also very, very appreciated. You can also watch the video, click the like, make a comment. It all helps the algorithm, so more people see the channel, and more people are more likely to send a donation or to buy the postcard. And other than that, there is also, like, if you purchase a lot on Amazon, I have some link where it's an affiliate link, and if before you purchase something on Amazon, you click on that link, anything you purchase, it could be anything, not the thing you clicked on, they send like a little commission. But I never really push this because I've seen that I receive maybe like 20 euro every couple of years. But if there was like 100 people that every time they purchase something from Amazon, yeah, I might get 1 or 2 cents here, 1 or 2 cents there. But then if there is a lot of people doing it, maybe I get to, I don't know, 10, 20 euro per month. And it seems stupid, but to me, 10, 20 euro every month is better than nothing. From the YouTube revenue at the moment, I get an average, I would say 70, 80 euro per month. Some months are a little bit less, some more, some less. Now that we will go in the summer, it will definitely be less. Last year it was a good year because the videos from Algeria got loads of views. They were not paid very well because yeah, it was mostly Algerian people, so the YouTube sell the ads very low cost there. But at least they give me back the money for the insurance, for the travel insurance for Algeria, for the ferry, and for the visa. So that was very good. 70, 80 euro that I get right now from YouTube, it basically cover the storage cost, because it costs me about 35, 37 euro per month to have a safe storage on the cloud. I use a service that is very low cost. It's called Blackbase or Backblaze. And then every year I usually I have to buy a new SSD, and I bought in January, and I paid about 500 euro. So basically with the YouTube ad revenue, I can cover at least the storage costs of making the videos. Marco also asked which countries did you like most and which ones did you like least and why? I think I answered this question many times, but for sure in the first Q&A video is there. But my favorite countries are the ones that are very hot, dry, and the ones that I liked the least, it's Ethiopia because of the harassment of many people, and Austria because the people were not welcoming at all. So these 2 countries. But in the first video I went a little bit more in depth, and if you want an idea for traveling by bicycle, I think around Europe the best country for bike traveling, or also for the quality of the tracks, the bikepacking tracks, is Spain. And another great country very close, Morocco, so you can link them. Algeria is also nice, but there's less off-road. It's more difficult to be off-road, and it's more difficult to get the visa. Another country that I really like is Turkey, also very close to Europe. And those are countries that people outside Europe can use, like, because in Europe you can only stay 90 days, but you could go to Morocco till Mauritania, and then maybe you get another, if you stay outside 3 months, you get another 90 days. And the same if you come in the Balkans, there are some countries that are outside Schengen. I think, I don't know if Bulgaria, but at least you can go to Turkey and maybe do Turkey is very big. You could stay 3 months in Turkey and then go back to Europe. Or you can go Georgia and Turkey. Turkey is such a big country, you could be here like a couple of years traveling around Turkey. In the Americas, I really liked Mexico was really nice. Central America I liked. Colombia, it's really nice. Peru is wonderful. And for nature wise and the riding, I think the south of Bolivia, northern Chile, northern Argentina it's something else. Also, I really enjoyed South Africa, Namibia, I enjoyed Rwanda, I enjoyed Sudan, many countries in Africa. Tanzania was also really nice. Uganda, there's great writing in Uganda as well. Everywhere is nice, except Austria and Ethiopia. Next two question is advice for beginners. What's one hot tip for someone traveling by bicycle for the first time? Consejo para mi primer viaje en bici desde Bolivia hasta Ushuaia. I don't know if I have one hot tip, you know, just get on the bike and start your journey. That's the one hot tip, and then you'll figure it out. If you want a little advice for the bike, fit the largest tires that you can on your bike that are more comfortable. Go tubeless, and also explore off-road. It's difficult at the beginning, and it's a little bit more challenging. You need to put a little bit more effort. The logistics are a little bit more complicated because you go in the middle of nowhere and you're like, oh, I leave the comfort of the main road where there are shops every so often, water every so often, food every so often, cold cans of Cokes everywhere. And I'm going into this forest that I don't know where I'm gonna find water or anything. But it's very rewarding. And then for the other guy that wants similar advice for his first trip from Bolivia to Ushuaia, it's the same. Also enjoy your riding, talk to people, take your time, don't rush it. Enjoy your time in the Salar in Bolivia, and enjoy your time to the deserts of Chile, and then once you get to Patagonia you will suffering the rain, so get some good rain jacket. I think we got to the last question. Nicola Freti, qual è la cosa più inutile che continui a portare con te perché non si sa mai? The one most useless thing that I keep carrying with me, because just in case. I don't think I carry anything really just in case. I use most of the stuff. I carry a bear spray can just in case, but I also used it once in Colombia and it saved my life. So yeah, I carry maybe some pharmacy stuff, some shots of cortisone, just in case I have an anaphylactic shock reaction to something. It could be food or it could be biting of something. And also I have a kind of an EpiPen. It's a pen of adrenaline. Same reason. Those hopefully I will never have to use them, but yeah, just in case. That was the last question. Congratulations, you made it till now. Thank you very much for following. I hope the video was useful to you. Hit the like button, subscribe, all that crap. And if you want to receive a postcard, hit me up. And I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much. Ciao.